Well, the ultimate goal for the United States is to eventually bring down the governments of Venezuela, Cuba, and Nicaragua. As you heard there from the National Security Advisor, John Bolton himself, he calls these three countries the troika of tyranny. The U.S. is essentially blaming these countries for having what they call dangerous ideologies that bring suppression and misery to their own people. And that's why they say they are pushing these further sanctions to pressure the governments in those countries. We understand, particularly in Venezuela, these were obviously not the first, might not be the last sanctions. We've seen a variety of them just over the last few months, but these sanctions in particular are now targeting the central bank of Venezuela, essentially prohibiting its access to the US dollars, and of course not just US companies but anyone in the world doing transactions with Venezuela in the US dollar hard currency might be encountering troubles with the United States. Now, when it comes to Cuba, of course, a very close ally of Venezuela, the US has repeatedly blamed them for playing a very active role in propping up Maduro's government in Venezuela. And now we see that they are putting a cap on the amount of remittances that Cuban families could send from the United States to back home. In 2016, there was roughly $3 billion sent just in that year alone. Now the cap is $1,000 for one Cuban for one quarter. So that significantly diminishes that number and the cash flow to Cuba, obviously. And of course, when it comes to Nicaragua, we understand that they are targeting a financial services provider called Bancorp, which the U.S. believes is an organization that has been used almost as a slush fund for Nicaraguan President Daniel Ortega. So all these moves are essentially aimed at cutting off a lifeline for those economies.